Today we're talking about domination rather than competition. You know, if you look back at Little League Baseball or any children's sports, they teach you about competition. But if any of those players become professional players, the sport's now about domination, and that's what business is about. It's about domination. It's not about competing. One of the first things they teach you in business school is, if you want to compete with somebody, move next to them. You want to dominate them, move in on them. And the race is on today, and you're in it, I'm in it, she's in it, everybody's in it, whether you know it or not. And what we need to develop in this race is the right habits. You know, habits on what you read to develop your mind, habits on either listening to audio programs or other salespeople on YouTube, habits of coming to these hangouts that I take my time to do twice a week. An average person that develops the habit of lifelong learning will eventually run circles around a genius who goes home and watches television each night. This is a fact. There is perhaps no habit that will more guarantee your success in life other than the habit of continuous personal and professional improvement. And of course, the payoffs we have in improved results is phenomenal. It's tremendous. The best payoff of all, however, is that as humans we become more positive and optimistic. We have more energy to be more creative and to be a happier person as we continue to grow toward the realization of our full potential. Hank, what do you do to improve your salesmanship, improve anything improvements? What are your improvement habits?
You know, one thing for sure, I mean, these hangouts are certainly helpful. I mean, and you know, one of the things I like to do, I mean, I continually go back and review the training material, you know, because there's just a lot of information there, and you try to, you know, just have that information and the questions in your head. And I go back and look at read, you know, as far as lines and stuff. I go back and, you know, weekends or at night I'll watch some of the older videos. It's just helpful just to hear the information. It's a lot of information, so hear it over and over again. You might pick up on something you missed the time before. That's been helpful. Just, you know, and then, you know, Rick and I talk on a regular basis and talk, you know, have questions and just, you know, try to figure out different things. You know, learning from the other, you know, I've tried to talk with some of the other account executives and learn from them and networking with them. So all those things kind of combine, kind of continuing to try to improve.
Good deal. And, you know, the habit of continuous learning, it enables us to become top performers. A matter of fact, continuous learning enables average people to become top performers in their fields. If you've ever heard a rags to riches story, that person had the right habits. Either that or they won the lottery, which you've got a much better chance of developing the right habits. But continuous learning enables anyone who wants it to rise to affluence and success. It opens every door. It increases your intelligence and creativity. And you probably know my thoughts on natural talent. I've been called talented, but I don't believe natural talent exists. I think that's something that we develop, and it's the habits, it's the practice that will put you on to the fast track in your career. And like I've talked about before, about nature being neutral, continuous learning is neutral. We can use it to accomplish extraordinary things in life, or we can use it to accomplish not so extraordinary things. You know, it's neutral. It depends on what direction we point it in. And it's absolutely one of the best habits that anyone can ever develop. The good thing about it is it lasts forever. Continuous learning doesn't go away. When you learn something, it's like riding a bike. You know, if you haven't done it for a while, you might be a little shaky when you get back on that bicycle, but in a couple of minutes, man, you're riding wheelies. What are you running into lately as far as obstacles? Obstacles, objections, anything. Hit me with anything, Hank. It's just a few of us here, so we've got the power of ultimate engagement here.
Yeah, obstacles still just making the calls, and just trying to find people that want to engage, and or find I would say that of the people that I'm calling on, I mean it's majority. The main objection I still get is we do it in house, or we don't have any bad debt. We don't have any write-offs, and we take care of it all in house. And so it's a kind of just working through the leads. It's just a process, and then then I find some that do have they say they have a collection agency, but they only send we only send one. We haven't sent one this year, or only send one or two, and it doesn't happen very often. So, just but still, I know there's people that they're not telling me the truth, and that's I've talked about that before, but still just kind of working through that, trying to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not.
Well, most of them are not going to tell the truth, and the most important thing in that is maintaining a sense of perspective. One thing we have to remember when we're contacting prospects or potential clients is that while our phone call is our main purpose and objective right now, it's not theirs. We're interrupting their day. We're interrupting whatever it is they're doing, and they're going to lie to get off of the phone almost every time. And that's why it's important to beat up the phone. You got to make so many phone calls to get one at the right time. Persistence definitely pays off, and we might be having something moving. Have you talked to Tom on that account for the guy in Nova Scotia?
Right. I haven't talked to him. I saw where I think I checked that yesterday where he something was moving on that. So you might. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm starting to smell money on it, man.
Good.
Starting to smell money, and you know that's a sizable account. So it'll be a nice fee pop when it happens.
That's the power of positive people.
Yeah, could you hear what she said, man?
No.
She
I
said,
said it's like power of positive people. You know, with persistence and drive and their wanting it, you just gotta go for it. Also, patience plays a role in it, because if you're too aggressive, it's not good, and if you're too not aggressive, it's not good. So therefore, you have to balance it out, and being patient is gonna come along with. At the end, it's all gonna work out. But being power of positive people and sticking together, it's gonna even be stronger.
absolutely.
No.
And yeah, I'm looking at that account we were talking about a second ago, man. That's a healthy one, man. That's about 80 grand.
Right.
That's a decent, halfway decent fee pop. More than halfway decent. That's all the way decent, man. It's got decent written all over it.
Well, I would like to get in on that account. Maybe my words will persuade him to pay.
Well, he thinks he might be able to get that thing paid, huh? That'd be great.
Well,
I could try hard.
well, Tom is let's see what he's got happening here. Yeah, he's supposed to be getting back with Tom with a proposal to resolve it, man. So that's going to be a good deal there. You know, even if it ends up as just the 80K and not the 120,000 with the additional interest and all that other stuff. The good thing is, man, we pull this off, and this client will absolutely have more business for you.
Sure.
And that's always a fantastic thing about collecting money for a client. When you collect their money, you got to call them and find out who else they're having a problem with, and of course, if they can give you some referrals.
Sure.
And when I say give you referrals, I don't mean just, oh, here's somebody's number. We've done, when we collect a large sum of money for a client, even though we make a large sum of money off of it, we've still done them a fantastic favor. So we've got to ask them for a favor too. You know, hey, look, you know, you've got this other person that you know that's in the same business or in a different business that needs us. Why don't you give him a call and let him know that I'm going to be getting in touch with him to talk to him about his accounts. That way, when you call in, it's not a cold call anymore.
Right. An introduction is huge. It makes a world of difference.
And your clients are most willing to do an introduction when you've collected a nice fat sum of money for them. That's always the best time to ask for introductions. Hey man, I just collected 50 grand for you. Would you do me a favor and introduce me to somebody that could use my services?
Word of mouth is really good also.
Yeah, that's always good stuff. So you're still running into the in-house stuff, and when you talk to the people that are claiming their in-house department is getting everything covered, what what are you telling them, and what types of responses are you getting?
Well, I'll ask, do you have any accounts right now that are outside the payment terms, or do you have any accounts right now that are over 90 days? It just kind of depends. And I said, what do you do with the accounts that you can't collect? And they just say, we don't have any, or everything's paid within terms. What do your typical year-end write-offs look like? So we don't, we haven't written off anything. Sometimes we haven't written off anything in a couple of years. Let me think. What other questions I might ask? I mean, then I might ask you, how many open accounts do you have? You get an idea. I mean, if they only have a handful or something, or what are the typical terms you sell on? If they're willing to talk some more.
Some picture.
How do what is your credit approval process, or questions like that. But but they come back and say, yeah, everything's within terms. We haven't written off anything in a couple of years, or we got small customer base that we deal with the same customers for a number of years. I mean, that kind of makes sense. We know them, or we deal with
And that may or may not be true. I mean, there are companies out there that deal with the same customer base, but one thing we have to face and we have to realize in today's business world, you're either growing or you're going. Growing or going. And that's a fact. That is a fact. If you look at a business that's going downhill today and they don't figure it out and pull out of it, they're gone. They're done. Stick a fork in. If you look at a business that's growing, well, they're growing. And in order for a business to grow, they have to acquire new customers. So while we deal with the same few customers may or may not be true, and I mean they may have a lick going on where they're just a small company that does $1 million or $5 million a year in sales, and they may be just coasting. Some companies can do that and do it for a long time. And the fact is that's not necessarily the types of companies we want to keep as good clients. Your good clients are going to be the companies that are growing, the companies that are going to have a need for your expert opinion on, hey, one of my sales guys just brought in this new customer. I'm not sure if I should approve him or not. He's asking for a little more credit than we'd like to extend to a company that's in whatever position they're in. And, you can tell your client, well, heck, start them out with something a little smaller than he's asking for and see how he does. Give him enough rope to hang himself, but don't give him too much rope. And then, if he doesn't pay according to terms, you can always send him to me. But when we bring in clients that we can continue to engage and help out, that's the cement that holds that relationship together. When we continuously help a client out, not just collecting their money, but once you start getting them to where they're calling you for advice on stuff, they're in your pocket. And that's how it should be. And I don't mean in your pocket in a negative way. You know, that's where your client should be. It's not anything demeaning or anything like that. It's, you know, if you need an expert in something, you're going to expect that expert to be able to help you in the things that you may not necessarily be educated in or have the right experience in to be able to make every decision. And that, once that's developed, it's very strong. When you get that going on with your clients, they'll never go anyplace else. And that's what you want. You want long-term clients. Because anybody can make a few bucks in this business by turning and burning clients. Anybody can. The guys who make the big bucks, the guys and gals who make the big bucks, they get clients, they keep them, they build a nice book of productive clients, and they continuously help them out and help them move business forward. Something I recommend on when you're asking someone if they have anybody past 90 days, instead of asking them if, ask them how many. And it gives them less of an opportunity to say, we don't have any. You know, do you have anything past 90? No. No, we don't have anything past 90. But if you ask them how many, it'll work sometimes. It's not going to be an all the timer, but it's something to increase the closing ratio, you know? Kind of a play on words there.
Yeah, and then, you know, kind of what I've talked to Rick about too, and I've watched him do when we make calls, is you get somebody that says they don't have anything, but you try to determine if they're willing, you know, if they are engaging, and if somebody that's open to the idea, and then you say, you know, how about I call you, you know, let me put you on a 60 or 90 day call back and touch base with them. Then, you know, some people say, nah, don't worry about it, you're wasting your time, but you get a lot, you know, get people that are willing, open to the idea. You know, I've got a lot of those where I'm, you know, going to be, you know, started making callbacks to people, and so I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of it like is timing. You know, they may not have anything right now, but you need to, you know, get a list of people that are open to the idea and willing to engage about it, and start working on them continuously, and something will happen.
Absolutely. How are you doing on leads? Are you, well, I can actually look and see right now how you're doing on leads to see how many you got and what they're
Working all the new leads. I'm just going through ones I've already called or left messages for, and
all right, because I'm gonna kick you some more. Whenever you start running low, ask us for more.
yeah, if you can send me some more, you know, in the different time zones, you know, East and West and Central Time, that'd be great.
How did you do with those Arkansas manufacturing?
Well, I mean, that's where I got that one lead we were talking about earlier. That was from Arkansas, and let me look at my prospects here. I mean, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff I pulled. I'm still working through a few of those.
All right, because I'll get we've got a few more in there that are 10 million plus in annual sales.
In Arkansas.
Yeah, and I'll get some more stuff sent over like that. And when you're calling these companies that are over 10 million in annual sales, every one of these is going to have write-offs of some sort. Every one of them. There's no oh well, we never write anything off. They might try to tell you that, but you know when you're calling one of these that if they tell you that, they are completely full of it.
So yeah, I mean, so you get something like that. I mean, so since they're over 10 million sales, you probably don't want to delete them. What do? You mean call them back in 30 or 60 days and maybe get someone else, or what,
if you can't get them to engage you, get rid of them.
Get rid of the prospect or the lead?
Yeah.
Just move on, huh? Don't worry about
it. To get this to work, we've got to have as many engaging us in. And the thing is, you call 100 people, you get 10 prospects out of it, and out of those 10 prospects, you're only going to get one client. So we've got to take that and get rid of as much of the BS as we can, you know, because otherwise we're going to be sitting there with a unit full of slippery crap on the floor that we're going to fall and bust our behinds on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's I mean, I just need to be more just delete. I mean, I've deleted a lot, but I mean, I was kind of looking through some of the other ones where people have said, I kind of have a feeling they're lying. I think, well, I might call them back. I mean, maybe I'll just. And I guess there's a ton of leads out there. I mean, just delete them and move on. I mean, because sometimes I know, you know, lots of times, you know, these smaller companies, I guess, a gatekeeper, you know, I'll ask for accounts receivables. You know, what's this regarding? Well, I can help you with that. You know, so I talk to them, and they give me this story. I'm like, no, you know, what are the? Unless this is a real small company, you know, there's no way this gatekeeper really knows what the heck's going on. But
yeah, and you know, some of the gatekeepers deserve some credit, but their job is to keep the gate. You know, that's what their job is. They're supposed to keep the gate. They're not supposed to let you pass to talk to their boss and, you know, get in there and pitch him on your services. And that's, you know, that's why when we're talking to a gatekeeper, you want to say, you know, hi, this is Mike Lyons with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? And whenever I'm calling somebody on a sales call, you know, if I'm making a collections call, I don't say, can you connect me, please? I say, put them on the phone. You know, but if I'm making a sales call, you know, I need to speak with Bob Smith. Can you connect me, please? Who's calling? This is Mike Lyons. Can you connect me to Bob Smith, please? Mike, who are you with? I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me to Bob Smith, please? And normally they won't keep asking you, and you blow right past that. The thing is, if we pitch the gatekeeper, if we tell them why we're calling, we're done. We're done right there. We get someone telling us no who doesn't even have the power to make a decision. And it's one of those things where the gatekeeper might get to know your voice if you call back, or they'll remember your name and I told you not to call here. We're not interested. Then you're stuck, you know, and that's one of the reasons. I know it seems some of my methods seem really aggressive, but we're in the collections business, so the potential clients that we're engaging to do business with us, they should understand we are in an aggressive business. And if you want a pansy collecting your money for you, I can give you a pansy's phone number. But he won't be collecting your money for you. He'll be trying. And he'll say, oh, well I tried. And, you know, that's what happens. And sometimes you'll run into some potential clients that say, man, I really like how aggressive you are. You know, that's what our company needs, an aggressive agency. And, you know, you'll run into some that I had one call in about a month ago to ask about placing accounts and our rates and stuff, and I began to qualify, and she wasn't the decision maker or anything, and I wouldn't give her a rate. I said, I need to know about your business before I can give you a rate. And I pushed her hard. And she's like, I'm not a fan of the hard sell. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do you want a pansy collecting your money for you? She says, what? I said, do you want a pansy collecting your money for you? Because it sounds like that's what you're looking for. I said, and if that's what you're looking for, you're calling the wrong place. I said, we're aggressive here. You need your money collected? We're going to handle it. We're going to collect your money for you. And yeah, we're aggressive. If you call me and ask me about my rates, I'm going to hard close you every time, whether you like it or not. And I don't care if they tell me, oh, well, you're too aggressive. I'm not doing business with you. Okay, well, call a letter writer then. That's what you need. You need a letter writing service. You need one of these collection agencies that has a college kid on a Dahmer system saying, hi, you owe our client $5,000. Can you do a check by phone today? We sent you a letter. If that's what you want, I can point you in that direction. Absolutely. And it'll yield you about 10 to 15% of what you place with them. You know, you send your accounts to somebody aggressive, it'll yield you above 3 times that. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make that business decision.
Yeah, that's good information. You know, the other thing, I mean, I've got not a ton, but I mean, I've got where I've found a company that, you know, looks like they're a pretty good sized company, and I've gone through and found the decision maker, and now I can't get the guy or the lady on the phone. I mean, left them a couple different messages and tried them at different times, and you know, I know it's a whatever good sized company. Looked them up, you know, on Reference USA. I mean, I know there's something there, but sometimes you just can't get the person. Like, well, just, you know, how long do you keep trying, and you just delete them or kick them? Or
what is the person's position in the organization that you're contacting? Where is he at on the hierarchy?
Credit manager, or maybe the CFO or controller. Or
go over his head. That's what I would do. I would go over his head. If he's not contacting you back, go over his head. Call the CEO. And honestly, when I do sales, I start at the top. Because to me it's like a game, though. Making the CEO of the company come to the phone, you know.
Right.
discuss something that's not even in his direct responsibility of the company. You know, he pays somebody to handle that for him, but it's in his best interest to talk to me because, well, it's his company's profits that are at stake.
Right. So that brings another thought. I mean, lately what I've been doing when I've been calling, kind of per some of the hangouts that we've had, is call and say, can you connect accounts receivables, please? And typically I get through with that, and then I get the accounts receivables person. I say, hi, I'm Hank Pavin with Lyons and Associates. We're a leading national commercial collection agency. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm trying to find out who the person is that makes the decisions on your past due accounts receivables.
Okay. Why don't try this for a little while? The contact name that's in there on your leads, on the ones that do have a contact name, your contact name that's on there is typically going to be a high-ranking executive of the company. Try getting that person on the phone and give them your elevator pitch. Hi, this is Hank Pavin with the firm Lyons and Associates. We are the most effective commercial collection agency in the country. Do you use collection agencies or attorneys as an extension of your credit department? And he's probably going to tell you, well, yeah, but our credit department handles that. I understand that, sir. I called you because you're a little higher up than that, and the profits of the company are probably a little more important to you than somebody who just manages accounts receivable. Am I correct? And get them to agree with you. And if he's going to put you off to the credit manager, which he's probably going to do, get him to transfer you from his phone. Drop his name to the credit manager. The credit manager is going to see the call being transferred on the screen on her office phone or his office phone from the CEO's office or from the executive officer. She's going to see where the call is coming from, and then you can say to whoever the credit manager is, hey, I just talked to Bob Smith, your CEO. He said you and I need to talk about your receivables, your delinquencies. I understand you're not getting as much collected as you'd like to. And you walk right in with the assumption. And they're going to say, oh, well, who are you? Well, my name's Hank Pavin. I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. If you know who we are, you know that we are the most effective commercial agency in the country. What do you have that's past 90 right now? And walk right into your assumption, And the credit manager is going to give you an objection. Oh, well, I might give you, well, we do everything in-house. Well, that's fantastic. I expected you did. Every successful credit manager that I know does these things in-house up to a certain point. Because you and I both know there's no use beating a dead horse. When do you consider them dead? 120 days? 110 days? 90 days? How long do you work them in-house? And they may say, oh, we work them longer than that. We work them to at least 150 days. Okay. Good. Well, why don't you start sending them to me at 140 days while they still have a little bit of meat on them, and you can use all of those extra calls that your in-house department is making to work on the new money, and it will actually enhance what's going on in your in-house department. And you're going to look like a hero at the end. You know, once you raise that percentage of receivables being collected, you're going to be able to walk into the CFO's office when it's time to hand out quarterly raises and say, hey, man, look at the fantastic job I did. Maybe you can recognize me with a raise or a bonus, you know. And this is something I'll use too on credit managers. Say, man, I'm going to give you the ammunition you need for your next promotion. I'm going to give it to you. You know how I'm going to give it to you? By being the best. By dominating. Because this is what we do. We don't compete, we dominate. And this type of pitch is either going to come across as completely confident, or to some it may come all over as arrogant. And if you feel like the person on the other end of the line is too weak to accept that amount of confidence, you just back it off a little bit. Because arrogance is, it doesn't always work in sales. But confidence does. Confidence will bring you very far. And you know, I have a problem turning the arrogance off sometimes, but I'm a collector too, so man, it gets difficult to turn that arrogance off sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I was just sitting there thinking about, when I first started, I knew what I was doing was asking for the name of the person on the lead list, and then I've lately been going to this where I've been asking for accounts receivables. So I'm going to try that again. You just ask for that. Sometimes that person may not be there, or I've had a handful of that person has been passed away 5 years ago. Whatever. Move on. But I'm going to try that again. But when you say if you get that, whoever that contact person is, if they're not willing to engage, delete them and move on. Or
well,
do you?
Well, you can find out who the credit manager is, or you can find something out.
Right. But actually, calling me to get in the accounts receivables, and then I ask you who's the person, and can you help me? I'm trying to find out who makes the decisions on these, and sometimes they'll say, oh, it's John Smith, the CFO.
Yeah, and we've got to be creative in this. We've always got to try different things and figure out what works the best. That's what's going to really get us in there. But I think we're going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. What else you got going on, man? Any questions? Any concerns? Any advice I can give? Anything, man? My brain is yours for the picking.
I can't think of anything else right now. But I'm gonna try that and go back, try just asking for that name on the list, see what kind of different response I get. If that doesn't work, then I call back the next time and ask for accounts receivables or.
Okay.
But not that, just maybe be more aggressive about just if they're not willing. If I get through to somebody and they're not willing to engage, delete them and move on, or just do that process some more.
Yeah, and a lot of this is learning what's going to work for you. You know, you want to figure out what's working and what's not working, and get more of the things that are working in, and get rid of more of the things that aren't working.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a process. Hank. Definitely a process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end this thing, and I'm going to go get myself some kind of lunch.
Good deal. Well, I appreciate it. Always informative.
All right. Well, I will talk to you soon, and when you call that one to go over whoever's head, if you can't get to the correct person, give me a shout, and we'll see if we can.
So, if you don't have the name of that person, you know, the over the head person, how do you recommend getting that name? Or, you know,
Go to our website and click on business verification, select the state that they're in, and look up the company.
right.
And those business verification links that are on there, if you click on business verification on our website, a map of the U.S. is going to pop up, and you can.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's one way to do it.
And what it's going to do is send you to the corporation search page for the Secretary of State in whatever state that is. And that's where that type of information is stored. And it's public record. So it's not anything that we have to run a report on or get any kind of shady way. It's public record. So
Right. Right.
it's there for the taking, you know.
Okay.
And if it's one of those states that does not give you the information, I can help you find it, because some of them will only give you like a registered agent. They won't give you like the CEO, CFO, secretary, treasurer, all of that stuff. Some of them will just give you very minimal information. So if it ends up being one of those states, we can figure it out.
All right. Great.
All right.
Give it a try.
Good deal. Well, I will talk to you soon, hey?
All right, Mike. Thanks.
All right, brother. Bye.